Welcome back, first graders. I got cut off on the last video at the end of lesson 3. We're going to continue. We're picking up at page 157 in the textbook. It's right here. We were talking about how easy digital clocks are to read. These are digital clocks, and these are called analog clocks, okay? They're a little bit harder to read than the digital ones. So let's look at these few times that are represented on the digital clock. It says 6:55. If you look at your book, it's probably a little bit easier to read, but it says 6:55. So let's imagine what that's going to look like on our analog clock so we can tell how many minutes until the next hour. So 6:55, 6 we know is the hour. We start with the hour and it's going to go to 6. But wait a minute, 55 minutes past the hour. That's a lot, isn't it? That's a lot going in the direction that is clockwise that the minute hand has to go all the way around. Let's count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, all the way up here. By that time, the hour hand isn't going to be near the 6 anymore. It's going to be closer to the 7. Okay? 7 and then 55 is where the minute hand is going to go. 7:55. It started at 6, but we know that when that big minute hand comes around, the small hand kind of moves with it, and it gets pointing towards the next hour, which is 7. How many minutes between now and when it is 7? It's how many minutes to what hour? Look at here. If we start at 11, how many minutes until o'clock? How many minutes? It's 5, isn't it? It's one increment. We could even count the little ticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 minutes. 5 minutes until 7. Okay? 5 minutes. Because it started at 6, but remember that big minute hand had to come around and around and around and around. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 minutes after the hour. 6:55 is 5 minutes away from 7. Okay? Come back over here. 11. 55 minutes past the hour, or 5 minutes till. And most people are going to want to say 5 minutes till 7 because they want to know the closest hour. Okay? Good. So that's for this one. Let's look at this one. 11:50. All right. So I want to get rid of my hour hand and my minute hand, and let's try and start a new one. 11 is the hour. Okay? We start in the middle. We're going to point up to 11, but we have 50 minutes after 11. So 50 minutes after 11 means that our hand probably isn't going to be pointing right at the 11. It's going to be closer to the 12 because 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 50 minutes on the 10, it's almost to the 12, isn't it? So maybe we should make it even a little bit closer to like that. Okay? That's for the shorthand, and then the longhand goes all the way to the 10. All right? This is 11:50. This shorthand started at 11, but then when the minute hand went all the way around up to the 50, to the number 10, 50 minutes passed, it sort of shifted towards the 12. Now, how many minutes between here and o'clock until it's exactly 12 o'clock? How many minutes? Well, we can count from here. 5, 10. We can count by 5 since now we know how to count by 5s. Or we could count all the tick marks and there would be 10 between here and here. Or we can look over here. 15 minutes past, 10 minutes till. All right? So it's 10 minutes to 12. All right? 12:45. let's look at that one. If it's 12:45, we know we start our shorthand, our hour hand should be near the 12, but if it has to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, all the way over here, the 12, the hour hand isn't going to be on the 12 anymore. It's going to be closer to the 1. Okay? It's going to be closer to the 1. And the minute hand is going to go all the way out here to the 45. It started at 12. It rotated a little towards the 1 as the minute hand moved clockwise around the face of the clock. And now it's at 45. 45 minutes. How do we know that? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. There it is. Number 9. 45 minutes passed. And remember, we also said that there's another way to say that. A quarter till. A quarter till. That means a quarter of the circle is left to go. If we colored all that in, it would be a quarter of the circle left to go before it is exactly 1 o'clock. Okay? It's a quarter to 1. Or it's 15 minutes to 1. All right? Or it's 12:45. There were 3 different ways to tell that time, weren't there? 3 different ways. But it's 15 minutes to 1. 15 minutes. Here's how we know. 5, 10, 15. 15 minutes. Or a quarter hour. 9. 45 minutes past or a quarter till. And the third way we could say that is 15 minutes till. All right? Good. Now let's look at these. Alex, May, and Sophia got to school at, and here are the clocks that tell exactly what time each student got to school. So really, in order to figure out who got to school first, we have to figure out what time each one is. All right? So let's look at this one. The shorthand is almost on the 9, but the longhand is definitely on the 9. Well, let's look at this. 9, 45 minutes past. 45 minutes past. That means this long minute hand started at the 12 and it went 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 minutes right here. It went all that direction, didn't it? Until it got to 45. So it started at 8. We're not fooled because it's not on the 9 yet. It started at the 12 started, the minute hand started at the 12 and went all the way around to the 9. So did the hour hand. It moved as well up to almost 9 where it is. All right, so that time then is 8:45. Not 9:45, 8:45. Okay, it's not quite to the 9 yet. All right, let's look at this one. What time is that? Can you tell me what time that is? You're right. Here's the hour hand. It's 9. And here's the minute hand. It's 5 minutes past. Number 1 is 5 minutes past. It's 9:05. So May got to school at 9:05. Sophia, here's the shorthand. That's the hour hand is pointing at the 9. And the long hand, the minute hand, is pointing at the 10. Oh boy, I think that means that minute hand came a long ways around and probably rotated that hour hand with it. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. 50 minutes on the 10. It's not 9, is it? It's 8:50 because it started here when it was at 8 o'clock and moved all the way around. That's 8:50 is what time Sophia got to school. So Alex got there at 8:45. May got there at 9:05. Sophia got to school at 8:50. Who got there first? Which one came first? 8:45. Does that come before 9:05? It does, doesn't it? Because this hand has to go all the way. It's 20 minutes later for it to be 9:05. 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. That's 9:05. So Alex got there 20 minutes ahead of May. Well, let's look at Sophia. So we know Alex got, he's ahead of May. Let's look at Sophia. She got there at 8:50. Is 8:50 before or after 8:45? It's just after, isn't it? It's only 5 minutes. From the 9 to the 10, that's one increment of 5. 5 minutes. So Alex got there first, and Sophia got there second. She was 5 minutes behind Alex. And May was long behind. Who knows what happened to her? Okay? So, digital, analogs, tricky time, but we can figure it out. I'm really glad that we've decided to teach this unit. I want you to look at the workbook, page 155, do as many as you can, and I'll have some extra worksheets this week as well. 151 to 156, that's the pages for the workbook, okay? All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.